Sitting here with Yada Yada Gold, talking about physicalasia again.
It's physical.
Physical.
Or at least that's how it sounds like.
Physicalasia.
Physical.
As it stands right now, this is what, end of episode 9?
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever spoilers need to be had or expressed ahead of time, they're being done now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fascinating. We're really unpacking this show because not only have we been fans of just the show since the beginning, from a physical competition aspect, the creativity of the games, the challenges, but this season's just introduced a whole new dimension of cultural depth, team-based analysis, as well as the incredible challenges and things that they come up with. And so we covered that in our last segment, was the first 4 episodes, but a lot has happened since.
Yeah, a good chunk. 2 weeks have gone.
Yeah, 2 weeks have gone by, but that's episodes 5 through 9. That's 5 episodes that have transpired since. So lots of good stuff to kind of want to dive in, and some of that recurring stuff that we talked about last time, just about how these teams engage in their cultural ethos, about how they work together, about their sort of norms and values as a country, as a team. So I've been mindful of that and seeing how that still kind of peeks its head up and resurfaces in these other challenges. Maybe some more prominent with some teams, a little bit more so with some and less with others, but we'll cover some of that, looking at that too. But
I'm just going to throw out there at the beginning is I want to give some kudos to whoever the game creators are for this. I mean, by far, comparably to all the physical players, you know, the first season and second season, they have really gone next level on digging down and trying to keep these. That's at least how I feel, because, I mean, it's so dynamic in the variations of incorporating strength and incorporating strategy and incorporating and it has such a great blend where the females play such a crucial role. They center everything around the females too as well, and just to have that perfect balance amongst all of these different competitions that are going, I feel like they especially took the time to really get down nitty and gritty and trying to figure out the best way to make this fair, but also fun and competitive at the same time. So like applause to them, you know. I just want to throw that out there right at the beginning.
All the game dynamics, I think, have always been good since the beginning. Oh, yeah. And I think I agree with your point that it's getting better. It's getting more creative.
I think it's next level now.
Yeah, even from the previous seasons.
Yeah, because I mean, even in the previous season, I mean, they had the hanging one, and then and then they obviously they had kind of the ball one that we're gonna jump in and start talking into. They had that, but they actually did that like the first exact same thing, the first season and the second season, right, or something like that. And then now the third season with Physicalasia, they're kind of incorporated, but they changed it up the dynamic a little bit by incorporating, a 5-game winning thing where you actually have to take the ball and dunk it on the other teams. And then you switch it up with like one-on-one or team efforts, and the team effort dynamic actually changes the entire game of that, you know, that I found that was so interesting, because if you pick the right, you know, you split up your team members into the right session of who goes against what. Sure. It changes almost everything. You want a blend of strength. You want a blend of speed. You want a blend of whatever else to kind of work with you. And then you have some of those teammates that just work best as like, you know, we'll run this person solo because they can definitely take on whoever their opponent is, you know. So who was the first one that went in? It was left off with Pacquiao, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just so the people or the countries that are limited right now is what, Indonesia. Like from the first 4 episodes, like the first country.
From our last session when we talked about that was the close of episode 4. So at that point, no teams had been eliminated yet. It's my understanding. So now when we're looking at this, you know, episodes 5 through 9, we discover very soon that the teams that got eliminated, Philippines in the death match of the sand, fighting over the ball. Philippines beat Thailand, which was a good match with.
Because that's where we left off. Thailand was the one with the ball in the water and the sand. You got to get into the goal.
Pacquiao hadn't gone yet, and when Pacquiao his team was the only team on the Philippine side that lost. I think all their other reps. Remember Mark Mugen? He went out first and
he
just
was a
destroyed
beast.
the other guy.
Yeah.
And he's been one of them. And then the females on the Philippine side beat the females on the Thailand side. And the Thailand side had the Muay Thai coach female who was really big and stocky and strong. But you guys recall the scene where it was the female, the CrossFitter on Philippine side, who just like dragged the whole group over.
And when she came out, I was like, "What are you doing?" She's just standing there watching them, remember? And then I was like, "Man, she's not even like helping out." And then she was the MVP at the very end and actually pulled it through for them to win it all.
It gave me goosebumps because not only was it just like, oh yeah, it's very dramatized and this last second push, but after she won, there has got to be this thrill of like you really accomplished something because everybody's looking up from above. That's the other aspect of the whole theater of this. The theater of it is that you're putting on this show. You got to compete. It's scary, and they're all just like watching you. You could embarrass yourself. You could look weak, whatever. And then she won, and it was like the Colosseums, and when you destroy your opponent, the crowds are just cheering. Like that's what it felt like. And I was like, man, that was really impressive how she carried that off. But yeah, Philippines beat Thailand.
That one Philippine girl. Gosh, I forget her name. She's that runner that does
Robin, I believe.
Was it Robin?
That could be.
She does the hurdles or whatever. I remember she was in the water. She's just drowning, just drowning in the water or whatever. Even the ref had to jump in at one point. And was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, she was the one that just tried to get the ball right away and just hold on to it and just
hold on to it as hard as she could.
Yeah, because it's
that's a strategy that's pretty interesting too. Like the just taking control of the ball rather than trying to get the ball into the other side. It's a strategy is just to hold the ball and just be brute strength on that part. But
and that's for the game designers. That game is on another level with that because in the previous seasons it was just fighting over the ball, I believe.
Yeah,
but that surprises me because a lot of balls in the previous season there was a lot of running around too, chasing and stuff like that. Whereas this one that's what I thought was going to be a lot more. I thought a better strategy was just to try to get the ball, do a toss to your running back, and then they just like get in that way because it's a goal that you're just trying to get to the side to put the ball in the thing instead of trying to wrestle it out, out muscle each other, with it. So that's what I thought, but there wasn't too much of it except for the Yushin Okami. That was the funniest one.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that one? Yushin Okami. He came out in that first. What was it? They tried to draw. He ran up there to try to grab it the second round, and the dude with the ponytail.
Nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he just runs and grabs it, and he totally just dodges Yushin Okami, and then he runs, and he could have just dunked it, and he slips at the very end of it.
At the end.
That's the element of surprise because in every match before that, you just kind of sense, okay, how does this work? Okay, you meet in the middle, there's a tussle, and that's what Yushin Okami excels at, right? I don't think he expected for a second that this guy would get there, grab it, and juke him that fast.
Yeah,
because you're walking in water. You're treading through water and the sand, so it's very tough. And then, but he couldn't do that again. I think they had 2 more resets where they started again, and every time he went there, Okami was on his toes now, so he knew what was happening.
He knew what to expect at that point. Though,
and I think that's where that other CrossFitter from Indonesia, I believe, Indonesia. He was the CrossFitter from Indonesia, the hybrid athlete. He had to change it up, but I think he was just trying to do that again and hope that he'd get there again, take possession, juke, but it's just not going to happen again. So he should have just got there first because he would get there first. He's faster and just sort of like kick it as far as he can on their side.
Right.
By that point, it's just wherever the ball is on the side. Yeah. So he had to go in there, but he tried to get possession but then that's just too slow. And that's why Okami was able to catch him.
Because that's Okami's strength though, is if we're fighting for the ball, I can take this guy. And he did, you know, because he took that guy down and just kind of like,
Okami's naturally bigger and stronger. Plus he has the grappling skill sets of being able to control, the situation. But I mean, again, that's another reason why I find the game so dynamic and so well thought out, because the ball's right dead in the water, and it's a totally different thing when you go from the water to the sand, where you can actually move around. It's so much more challenging to move around with all the splashing water in your face and everything, and it's thick. And if you look at it, it's in the arena, you actually, the sandbags on the side actually goes up. It's not completely flat. You actually have to climb out of the water over the sand with the ball.
To be that way.
To make it more challenging to get out of the water, because it becomes a different game once you get it onto the sand area. Again, just brilliantly designed and thought out.
Yeah, but what happened at their 2-man? So you have the Japanese baseball player, and then I swear, Japanese team, they all look like anime characters. But the Japanese baseball player and
Yoshio,
the other guy.
Yoshio on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was Yoshio and Katsumi, who are Yoshio is the baseball player, Katsumi is their swimmer.
Yeah.
Is that the blonde hair? Dyed hair?
Yeah.
Straight up like an anime character, I swear. But yeah, they had their matchup, but it was interesting that Indonesia would actually use like a girl or a female, a female with the bigger male.
Yeah.
So it's weird how their strategy was for her to go into there and like try and hold the ball when
the big guy just stood on the side.
Yeah, it kind of put them at a very disadvantage. Now the female, she fought hard.
Yeah, sure.
She was very tough. She fought hard. She showed everything, but it just wasn't enough. Like if you have a guy that can just pick her up with the ball and bring her over, that's what he did. Like that strategy didn't work out.
Showed a lot of heart, a lot of fight. She was obviously really riled up seeing her previous opponents with blood on their face, or her previous teammates.
They got hit.
But Yoshio, the baseball player, he was just playing. He was being nice.
Yoshio is my favorite one in the whole thing.
He could have easily just the way from her. I think he was being respectful and just kind of, and then, but it goes back to what you were talking about, the strategy. So you're allowed the ability to, you're supposed to designate people. It's like a one person, then two person, then one again.
No,
I think the final one is always a one-on-one or something.
Oh, yeah,
it gets to that point.
Something like that.
I think that match didn't end early or something like that because they already got eliminated or whatever because they didn't collect the points or something.
Yeah, it's 3 and out.
Yeah,
so
right?
they were swept on those first 3, so it could go to 5, I believe. And so if that's what you're tasked with and you're trying to designate your team members, I'm trying to think of the scenario where you would how you allocate the women in this round. And so the partnership between their leader, who's the bodybuilder, and and their female on the Philippines, who I think she's a jiu-jitsu or a martial artist. And so, but what advantage would that have? I can only think of it being a disadvantage. And I'm also curious as to, do you just set these up ahead of time? You don't get to see what the other side's gonna throw out there, right? Because if 2 women came out, can you be like, oh, they have 2 women, oh, let's just dominate this and bring our 2 men or something?
Yeah,
it seemed like you couldn't tell.
Because I was curious, how did then the 4 women get together? The 2 on Philippines and the 2.
That was a good battle.
That
was the last battle of the match.
Yeah, but then it just happened to be like, did they just get lucky and match up? Because what if?
Maybe they talked
that's
about
what I mean.
It. Maybe they were just like, 2 women, 2, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that. So we don't know that. So it plays into how you would select it, but I don't know. I don't think the whole them partnering up with their leader and the female was the best option, because it's exactly what had happened. As long as you nullify their big guy, which is hard to do, but I mean, you can nullify him, then it's an automatic win. Like and the big guy, he's not.
It's a pick and roll or something.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's just, I don't see a scenario. So rethinking some of these competitions in hindsight and trying to think, well, how would you do it then?
But if you're gonna have a big guy and then the woman in your group to jump into there, the least you would do is just try and get the big guy on the ball and hold it, and when there's a chance, just hand it off to
hand it off to the woman, and then she can quickly run over. You would probably hope that maybe it leads into the second round, but it was just crossing the line, and maybe the big guy can just, take control of the situation in the center and then maybe pop the ball out or something like that. Maybe the girl can grab it. That's the only way I would imagine that.
At a disadvantage.
Yeah. Again.
Or you have to just get lucky that they did the same, where they did guy and girl too. Or what if they bring out two girls? Or I don't know. That's what's kind of interesting how I
think maybe they knew and it was intentional. Maybe they were saving it or something like that.
Because it was suspenseful, because that was the determining match. So
I think it would have been cool if the two bodybuilder guys, because they're, the Indonesian leader was bodybuilder, and then the replacement who came in was also a bodybuilder, who replaced their badminton dude. And if those two guys represented like Indonesia there, because just for fun, just for the aesthetics at least, I still think they would have lost. I think Yoshio, the baseball player, and their swimmer guy, the blonde haired dude, still probably would have won. And so
I do have to say, man, I knew the Japanese were good. I didn't know they were this good though. Like how
last time when I had mentioned that this pound for pound element.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to see that at play here, and I have a little bit more to talk about that in a little bit here, but
Japanese is really good.
Especially strong.
What about the match with the Japanese, like the fighter Japanese guy versus he dominated
the little dude?
Yeah, the little dude.
That's my favorite guys right there, man. That guy is.
He's in my new top 5 of favorites.
Yes.
The scrappy MMA guy, Ink Odgil, I think, from Mongolia is one of my top. But then Soichi, I believe, is the Japanese judo Olympian, and I love him.
He dominates everything.
So good, like.
He's smart too. So
he's smart. He's kind of just lighthearted. I remember that scene where they were doing the mini games, and Okami went up to face Amati.
Yeah,
and then the Japanese were like, "Oh, Amati's so ripped right now. He's just so like." And he's like, "Why are you cheering for Amati? We should be cheering for Okami right now." So, those are just those silly scenes, but yeah, Soichi. What was impressive about that, I get, it looked like
he had his one-on-one, right?
That was his one-on-one. It looked like the opponent, he's a swimmer in Indonesia. When I look back at the approximate weights, so I compiled the weights, their weights, and you do that through just a little bit of research, but you also know that when they compete in like MMA or things, the listed weights are a lot lighter because they dehydrate and stuff. So you kind of have to just approximate whatever info's there too. There might not be any data on some of that. But when the only weights I can find on these two guys, they were pretty close in their weight. But which is strange because the swimmer just looked a lot bigger in frame.
Way bigger, yeah.
In frame. So I'm just going to assume that I think the swimmer confidently that he's bigger, heavier in this matchup. And swimmers have cardio for days.
Like,
I think they have the most impressive, just that efficiency of body mechanics and
endurance.
And it was crazy to watch that too, because this is a tussle over your athleticism and out grappling them. But then you see the technique when Soichi would just like, because the other guy had a ball, and Soichi just like unwrapped his fingers so easily. Like, because that's just technique. You just unwrapped his fingers like off the ball and got the ball loose, And everything Soichi did as a technician was just so spot on, even though the swimmer in Indonesia, I think probably has a lot better pure athleticism. And then Soichi almost got it too. And then it was crazy because Soichi picked up the ball. He was running out of the water. An Indonesian swimmer, he did a breaststroke and went like that. It was almost like a perfect breaststroke and caught him on his legs. Yeah. And then caught him down. And then I think Soichi again got up and then that's when the back of his shoe kicked his face. But that was so cool too to see. That's why I noticed those little details because I know he's a swimmer. I noticed that. And those little details and see how their athleticism plays into each challenge and how it demands them. I think Soichi, very athletic, but not as athletic as the other dude. But Soichi just naturally just manhandled every little positional advantage and just took care of the situation like nothing, man.
For such a little guy too.
Yeah.
And the reason I was so impressed with that match is the fact that he didn't just win by technicality of bringing the ball over. No, he dunked it.
Yeah, he was able to finish it.
Beat the bigger guy, like walked right through him, busted his head, walked in and dunked it. I was just like, man, for a little guy, Soichi is a beast.
And the swimmer, I think, I don't think there's anything he could have done. Like he gave everything. I don't think he planned it poorly. I think he gave everything. There's nothing he gave all of his athleticism. He gave all of his strength. But when a person is so good at certain techniques of maneuvering you and your weight and peeling your hands off the ball,
there's nothing.
There's only so much you can do. And he's getting away. You even breaststroke, try to give everything you can.
Technique over power and strength. I mean, that's what it shows right there. Just to be able to have that ability to know exactly how to body control, wrist control, hand control. When those things come into play, and it's second nature to you too, because you do this all the time, it just played to his advantage, and it just showed that, even if the other guy was bigger or stronger or whatever else, but it just goes to show, man, Sochi is such a beast.
So we know Japan is very, what was it? Underestimated in the beginning or underrated in the beginning. Now you can clearly see. So obviously Japan wins that one, and because of that, Indonesia got knocked out, right?
Yeah, so we'll move on from this challenge to the death match. We say goodbye to Thailand. The Philippines takes out Thailand. I'll say real quick too, the strongman from Philippines and Pacquiao, they're just so underwhelming, man.
Yeah.
They're just so Thailand beat them easily, and I think we were talking last time about whether Pacquiao, does he really want to commit to this? Because after that, he realized, I feel like this is just me making it up, or me conjecturing that. He realized this is just not his thing. This is too much. He was just manhandled. It's his age and his size. And he just realized this, there's only
risk.
And even in his leadership and encouraging, that's just not his thing too,
What was he like? He was like, I'm sorry, but I have a commitment back to Philippines.
Back to the Philippines.
Well, we talked about this on our last podcast. Yeah. We had the feeling, and, we all kind of felt that maybe this was Pacquiao's a little bit out of place here in this scenario. So
give it to him.
It was a surprise.
He did do the sand one, where you had to carry all that stuff. Yeah. I mean,
the super break, I can understand. I was surprised he actually did this one, the battle, the sumo battle. Yeah. That one where he had to run out there and grab it as fast as he can.
Because it's collision,
so high risk of injury. There's so many different things that are involved. And not only that, I think Pacquiao, he knew that he wasn't going to be able to give a lot to his team and help his team a lot, other than this idea of leadership, which he really didn't possess much.
I know, because I try to look back. You had mentioned last time, it's the leadership. Even old savvy veterans, if they don't have the physical benefits, at least they have leadership. And I just remember he said things like,
only sexy young man has that.
Oh yeah, from the first season. But Pacquiao was just saying just get the ball over there, push it over there or something. Yeah, get the ball on their side. And then
I felt like when they won, Pacquiao was probably like, oh man, I thought we're gonna go home. I thought it was gonna be over. We gotta keep going with this. All right, I'm gonna have to just put in my resignation.
Well, an excuse. Then how do I get off the show?
That's what it looked like. If you go back and rewatch, you watch what happens when they win it, right?
When he wins it,
they continue
doing all the punching.
But there's a short, quick scene of him, and he's just you can tell he's just kind of what? Oh, he actually was stuck in this. Oh man! All right, boom. Next episode. Oh, Pacquiao's gone. Replaced already. It did kind of suck out a little bit of the excitement of just his brand and his name and his presence being there. He's just an all-star cast. So, knowing that he's replaced, and you don't really get a lot of time to be acquainted with his replacement too as well, which we'll get into and talk about.
But we might as well, because we say goodbye to Thailand, we say goodbye to Indonesia.
Anything you want to say about Thailand though? Because Thailand did give up a fight, but I just felt like there was too many holes in their game and their team.
The players maybe their players just didn't come through. Their biggest tank, their wrestler, Anucha is his name. He lost to the rugby guy, and so you would think that's maybe perhaps his forte to be the wrestler. So they just didn't perform enough, and the only team that performed was James and Superbond, who beat Pacquiao and their big guys. So
I still have to say, what was his name? James is the big dark dude.
Yeah,
he is Thailand's MVP, man.
He was, man.
He's the one who carried Thailand all the way through.
He was the most impressive in a lot of the challenges, and even in that challenge, because they were able to get the ball in the hole. So
But they did it so smoothly too. Like that was the best strategy I saw out of the whole thing as a team.
And it's crazy because that guy, he's a volleyball player, you know, like volleyball. Like, how does that like play into all of this, you know, and just being a volleyball player? But he showed brute strength, he showed agility and power and everything. He's like
Flamboyancy too.
you know, we had like all these like rankings of strength, intelligence, leadership. Like he would be like 5 out of 5
on a lot of them.
Category.
Charisma, flamboyance.
I mean, even the other people are like,
Funny lines.
he's kind of flamboyant, but he's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, we had to say goodbye to Thailand.
Yeah, Indonesia. Saying about Indonesia, I didn't expect. It's kind of tough because I wanted to like Indonesia, but again, I wanted to be sort of proven wrong about the idea that I think bodybuilders are so overrated in these competitions. They have the aesthetics for it, and it was kind of true again.
No, it proved you right again.
Well, I know I was hoping to be proved wrong. I was hoping he would.
But you got proven right again. It was just this big guy who it wasn't really adaptable and useful for certain things. No, there was a contest where you have to lift heavy things and hold it. You know, he had some decency value to it. You know, but there wasn't a lot of that. You know, at least for the first few episodes. So,
and I think Jeremiah, he's the guy that did the quick juke over Okami.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, the hybrid athlete. I think
he was very good.
There wasn't enough to like his time ended too soon. There was probably some really crazy stuff he could do and showcase. I just think he just choked at that last second.
Yeah,
because it was just if
that
he
would
didn't
have
choke,
saved it for them too.
because that speed, he has speed, athleticism, all that, and so I didn't think we didn't get to see enough of that guy.
It was about to be a flawless victory until the very end and break the whole thing. Probably just, you know, it's just one of those moments where you get so excited. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What the?
I thought he would recover too. I just thought, oh, it's okay. I mean, you're way on that side. You recover. Just do it real quick. No. Okami caught up.
Then you see Okami running up. That's why Okami, man, the Japan, man, they're pretty good, man. It's their leader too, Okami.
It was very fascinating. The game designers, you talked about game designing being like one of the major assets of the show. There's just the game design, but it's also not just the game design, but all the extra little things of gamesmanship, like the drawing straws for the next quest, you know, the team rep quest, and that. So like even those little things about how you set up the teams and then how you have to designate players for some of these missions and stuff. But I don't know, those little behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, but like those scenes where they're listening in on the conversation as they're drawing straws, again elicits to me some of that, how these countries or some of that cultural aspect comes up. Mongolia has been consistent. Very impressed by their consistent just demeanor of, this is what we're going to do. This team screwed us over. We're after them.
I like Mongolia.
I like that. Yeah. Turkey isn't scared of any team. They're just kind of like the bad guys or whatever. They're just like, they relish in just like, yeah, everybody hates us because we won that first mission, with the territorial battle. And so
everyone was after them.
Yep.
They wanted to take them out.
And then Korea, gosh, I'm going to say this throughout this podcast. They disappoint because they play scared all the time.
Yeah, they're playing too safe.
They're playing conservative.
But it's working though. In some places it's working. And I feel like they're too strategic. Like they're playing too safe and too strategic with everything, because their goal is to really win, not just dominate, just win. Just
win it all.
Just move to the next stage, you know?
So there's the strategic decisions for how you allocate things, but even their commentary kind of adds into it. Like Yun Sung Bin, their Iron Man dude, would say things during this the drawing of straws of like, oh man, we're in Australia. No one said like, all right, we can do this, or we can. They're like, oh, why did we get paired with Australia? And Yun Sung Bin's like, well, at least we don't have to win this. We just can't be last. But it's like, why are you speaking at such a defeatist attitude?
Yeah.
Just like, well, we just can't get last. And I'm like, I get it. Australia, they're in your bracket. They're good. But just come on, say something a little bit else. And the whole team's like that. So it's, at least for the most part. Actually, the most impressive attitude-wise is their wrestler. And I'll tell you a little bit.
Big dude.
No, the female wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Female wrestler.
Gotcha.
She's the one that I think on certain occasions in one of these quests, I'll bring up a little bit later, but she has a strategy a little bit later on. But yeah, those little scenes of that cultural element. I love how Mongolia's mentality is. Australia's mentality is we're the best. We know it. And matter of fact, everyone knows it. So we're just going to do our thing. Japan's, they're kind of, they want to be strategic too. And they're thinking about things. But when they make a decision, they're just so gung-ho about the path. And they're kind of similar to Mongolia.
But I love the way the Japanese strategizes everything, especially Yoshimo Kami or whatever. He's just, his commentary is always the best. When they go back and he's like, this is exactly what we planned. He nods his head, this is exactly what it was.
I would say this, Japan is the opposite of that South Korean mentality of let's just be strategic, conservative, calculated. And there's a reason why Japan said in the death match, we're sending our best three because we're going to get 3 and out.
Japan is fearless. Yeah.
3 and out. And that's exactly what happened. They went 3 and out, even though Okama almost lost it. But and it puts them in that position. So that's that Japanese mentality of like going all out. I mean,
strike them now.
Like
finish them and strike them dead.
Never back down. They did the same thing and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but they did the same thing in the ropes challenge.
Yep. We'll get to that.
In the ropes challenge. But it's so, I love that though. It's like, because even in that moment in the ropes challenge, Okami was debating it back and forth. I can hear the commentary on the team saying, are you sure we want to bring our best 3? Because even though they weren't told what's to come, they just kind of knew something. So it's like
they sense something.
Yeah, they sense something. But then, so they don't reveal the decision. And later they said, we just got to do it. And they showcase, we're going to have to beat Australia eventually. So we might as well do it now.
Yeah.
Man, it's just so impressive how
so well into their
Japan
favor.
carries themselves. And I'll say this too, and again, I'm just getting ahead of myself, but Korea played the role of, we've done this before. We know that there's a trick behind here. We know that, so we better conserve. I get it. Great. But I'm very confident. I think they would have won that challenge if they put their best 3.
Easily.
They would have won that challenge.
They would have.
And they sensed it too when they saw how Japan was cheering and celebrating. It's like, oh man, because Hyun Sung Bin, who was the first one to go out there in his thing, he was way ahead of
everybody. I think Hyun Sung Bin amongst every single contestant in that round as far as the rope challenge. And I know we're ready jumping into the rope challenge, but Hyun Sung Bin was like, he would beat everyone there. Though how fast he was swinging that shit was like like I've never seen before. It was faster than it. I'm just like, man, it sucks that he just has to be paired up with the 2, girls who are just not going to be dominant because this is such upper body strength.
Because they're giving you,
where they're just giving in on that. But Hyun Sung Bin was just monstrous. He was better than any other contestant in this round by far.
Imagine they put him, a multi, and
especially a multi. This is a multi's thing. A multi would have been phenomenal in this too as well. Korea would have easily took that.
I'm just gonna deep dive. I'm still gonna talk about this, even though it's out of order. Hyun Sung Bin, this was about 40 seconds in his first round, his first minute. He's got 212. Australia's actually in last place at this point. This is only the first minute in. And so I just think if he, and then, at the 2-minute mark of this one, that you could just see that they've plummeted to last place, and Australia took over from there. So I have a pretty good feeling. And again, I took this little snapshot scene because they planned this whole thing of, okay, we're going to save our best guys. But then ultimately you have to choose a guy to do this thing. And I can tell none of them wanted to do it. This is a throwaway match for them.
Yeah.
So you're either going to look embarrassed, and it's exhausting. And I remember, but they made the decision, they did it. And so.
Well, why did they waste their best guy then?
I bet you. I would probably, as Dong Yeon Kim probably made the
Dong Yeon Kim should have did that one.
Maybe. Yeah, because Dong Yeon Kim was the one that's pushing the strategy, saying, let's just throw away this mission. And then when they're announcing everyone, they're like, okay, from Team Japan, we have this. And then they show Korea from Team Korea. And then the other team's like, yeah, you can do it. Hyun Sung Bin actually looks over at them and just like, you mother effers. He wasn't happy.
Of course.
He wasn't happy, which is kind of just those little incidental things. You have to watch this like twice or something to notice little details like that. But
yeah, I would be too, because it is just a throwaway game for them. And then he's like, I gotta waste all my energy on doing it because the road thing is one of the most painful, hard, like that is the endurance killer, the soul spirit burner,
sucker.
Yeah, it sucks everything. Even I think he even said it. This was like the most painful moment I've had ever.
A brilliantly designed challenge because again, it doesn't matter how athletic you are. If you're burning out, you're burning out. So it's just, and if the idea is get as many as you can, everyone's gonna.
But I mean, I was cracking up through that entire thing. Yeah,
well, I know.
Every image of their faces, like doing the double one.
Their faces were so
like they were humping, like
Soishi, Japanese guy, because he's kind of short too. So at the end, he has.
But all of the big white dude in Australia, even him, he's like
everybody.
All their faces was...
And then the Japanese, the baseball Japanese guy, his face is just like
I know.
I'm telling you, man, it's so painful, man. You should record yourself when you do it too, like that. But
yeah, what kind of face would you?
I know you can't help it. You're full because you're draining every single part of your muscle in your body. Your legs are burning, your arms, your shoulders, your sides, your back. Everything is burning. You're just like, the only face you can make is just this horrible, corny face.
Oh,
yeah, I just couldn't stop laughing. I actually had to pause the scene a couple times and just look at their faces. Yeah,
I mean, but to get back to what you were saying about Japan, though, like, I mean, not Japan, Korea.
Yeah,
like they even did it on when was it, Quest 3, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
which we'll look at right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll just go back to that right now because this one consisted of like the first one of having a true, like, individual team match against each other,
Team rep. I like these little team rep matches too. It goes back to you have to be strategic about understanding the mission or the game and then seeing who's the best at this and allocating your team.
You play to their strengths.
And you verse them. You have to anticipate who do you think they would send to here and who would beat that person.
Yeah.
Putting in your best options for each one. But
I like it, but I also, the only downfall about it, I would say is especially, I'm saying with this session and then the other one with the ropes and the final battle too as well, is that I think it's a tragedy that we missed out on some amazing potential could been matchups, but it didn't turn out to be that way. Like, for example, at the end, not to just jump ahead again, but at the end when the hell one where they have to push, I would have loved to have been the big guy in Australia versus even Yongsing Bin, from Korea, being in that rotation too as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was a tragedy that we're not going to be able to see some of the matchups, the dream matchups you wanted to see go against each other, just to see their strengths and stuff like that. And the same when we talk about this one, there were some dream matchups that I had in mind that I really wanted to see, but just didn't turn out the way I expected, Well,
I wish everybody could have competed in the death match with the ball in the water because that one it brings so much speed, strength, technique to the table. So some of these where it's like it might be a great matchup, but when you boil it down to its elements, you just can't beat that big Australian guy. Kind of like the hand game where it's like when you boil it down to its elements, you just can't beat it. That guy is almost 400 pounds. Like, you just. But then the ball game, there's a way to beat him. and he's strong as heck. But if he had to compete in where he had to get the ball and put in the thing or whatever, it could be different, know. So
there were some missed opportunities with some of the matchups that I had loved to see. But yeah, let's
the zigzag hurdle. Like, I wish we had one of these, like build in our backyard.
A zigzag hurdle. I'll tell you,
that's the full body workout. Like,
that is taxing.
And then huge kudos to Dome Tomato too. Like,
the Australian guy.
Well, he was built for this.
I know, but
the way he did it too was amazing. How he did it,
man! When he finally got his turn to jump in, I thought he was going to go through it fast. I had no idea the brilliance of how easily he just hopped up and down.
Tarzan, man.
Yeah, literally just pop. Like he just made it look easy. It was just unbelievable how smooth it was too, just hopping back and forth. Everybody else looked a little clumsy, and they had some, you know, they definitely had some agility and some. You can tell they're athletic and they had those skill sets, but he just made this on a different level.
And he broke it down too, which is very fascinating. He talked about parkour. Its philosophy is about path of least resistance. It's about setting yourself up to get from this path to here using the most efficient method. And then he was talking about that, and he said, I knew if I did, it was a specific thing, and I'm botching it, but he said something about, I knew if I did Kong, he called it Kong, step, hurdle or something, something like that, and repeat it over again. That's the fastest, like a syncopated rhythm. If I just did that, it would work. And that's exactly what he did. The Kong part is the climb over by going head first.
Yeah.
And then 2 steps only. And then the other one where you kind of leap over it. And he just did it. And he made it a very rhythmic pattern and just solidified it in the perfect efficiency. And so when he was talking about that again, it's those little details I really appreciated from, because it's always much more impressive when you call it out, like, sorry guys, I got this one. Like, this is made for me. And it's like, man, somebody beat this guy. So it's way more impressive when you can say that and then just be like, what? We're down like 2 laps, 3 laps. Young Sun Bin, I got this. You know, like he just took care of it. So
yeah,
it's but it's like
I know exactly what you're saying. Everybody else was moving very quickly, and they were using their own personal speed and endurance to try and push back and forth. But this guy just had the whole thing, like you said. It was musical. You know, it was just pop, 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 pop. He used as little force and energy as possible.
It didn't matter how far down they were either. Like I knew he was just gonna come back and beat.
I know he was gonna be fast too, but I had no idea like how clean and pure and rhythmic he was just maneuvering himself through that, and how easy it was for him just to catch all the way back up and win it, the whole thing. It was all just, man, Australia's just not fair, man. Australia, man, they just got everyone. We haven't talked about Australia, but I mean, they really highlighted how much more of an advantage Australia has over everyone. That's why everybody, like Korea, is just like, oh no, Australia. You know, everyone's just scared of Australia because they just are dominant in everything.
And they're smart about it too. I've noticed that Australia is very smart in choosing who can do what, who's strengths and stuff like that. But they all fall in line with it too.
Except
very tactical. The zigzag hurdle thing was one of the first challenges that really implanted this notion that as athletic as you can be, when you come to these challenges, you get a minute to look at them and assess, do your best. So Young Sun Bin, one of the most athletic freaks alive, right? You look at that, it's like, yeah, that's my thing. But you just don't know until you know. And that's what makes the show brilliant, is that there's nothing like this little zigzag hurdle built before, at least to their dimensions. So then when you're actually trying it, you think, and even as a viewer, you're thinking ahead of time, oh, all you need is this. Or if you're taller, that gives you such an advantage, because the shorter people, it's like, it's just harder for you if you have to jump higher every time. If you're taller, it's a shorter jump, and it requires less explosion to try to get up there. So I'm already thinking in my head, if you're taller, you got this. But then you get a split second to assess that, and there's all the millions of things you didn't assess yet. Like, it's not like you're doing this once or twice as fast as you can. Doing this 10 times is really hard. Like, and they didn't even know that. And that's what's crazy, because you can't assess that. It's not like you've done this before. So they didn't know. Young Sun Bin, he probably got through his first 5 like nothing. After that, his feet went numb or something. Like, because it's just so like draining and taxing, because it's new things. And that's what I love about the show, because you can't prepare for these things. You can be as athletic as you want, but it's one of those first times where pacing matters, where you think maybe all I need to do is this or that, but pacing matters. How you allocate your strength and stamina matters. You don't know until you've done it. And so all this stuff is new. And so for the zigzag hurdle, that really showcased it. But all the other ones in this quest too, the totem pole, a lot of those, you only get a split second to assess, and you assume certain these things, and then just like we talked in the last podcast, you just assume, oh, bigger guys, heavier people have great advantage of this, but you want
to know what the X factor on the hurdle though? Again, the judo Japanese guy.
Dude, that's what
that was the one where after I saw that, I said, dude, you're my top tier list. You're not leaving that now. Because you the tiniest guy, but yet, man, you still dominate this. You know, like there's nothing that guy can't do. He's just he's everywhere. He's everything, man. That guy he's the MVP right now.
Because I had those same assumptions in my head when the first team did it. And I was like, man, Dom Tomato's just a freak, so it's like him winning is just his thing. But naturally, if you're taller and athletic, it's just going to give you an advantage. So I made that assumption. So then they showed the next game. I was so sure Mongolia would take it. These taller volleyball, basketball players, they're just kind of hopping over it. And then Soichi steps up to it. It's like up to like here. I'm like, or it seemed that way. I'm like, man, I lost this, bro. Like, I like you, but man, you lost this.
Like, why did you choose to do this round? You know,
you partnered with the female, and that'll be a recurring theme too that we'll talk about is the allocation of the females and everything. But you partnered with the female, and then actually everyone had a female in that round. So, but yeah, I just assumed like, yeah, you didn't get this one, but just prove me wrong. You just made it look so easy, man.
Let's think back right now. Has he lost a single round
of
any challenge that he's competed in?
One of the
personally.
Not personal challenge or team challenge.
Well, team challenge and personal challenge. I know that one. Yeah, the platform. The platform. It was because of him because they threw him off. That was the only thing
moment, and he did look bad. And that was early on. So your first impressions of him are like, oh, he's a weak link on their team. Small weak link on their team. He got tossed up, looked embarrassing, and then.
He's literally the one guy who's carrying that team. Like, so many rounds.
Oh, the baseball guy too. The baseball player. Yeah, the baseball guy is my favorite too. He's on my top tier. He's on my top tier.
Yeah, I love that guy too. Like I said last time, he's got just perfect genes, man. Like
if you guys like that guy too, check out the Japanese physical thing. It's called.
It's their version of it.
Final draft. Yeah, sure. He's on that one.
Oh yeah,
he's in there. He's in that one.
Did they already finish it?
Yeah, it's already complete. And it's not. It's nowhere as entertaining or dynamic as this, and they incorporate a lot of other stuff. But anyhow, he's on there too as well. So shout outs to that.
Man, yeah, I want to build one of these, and it looks so cool.
You'll do it once and be like,
take it. Wasting my time building this.
Yeah, that thing is, man, that thing looks, for me, I don't know. I probably would have been able to get maybe 2 done. Maybe
2 laps.
Maybe 2 laps if I'm lucky. If I can even get over the first hurdle.
Yeah. I can't even get over the first hurdle. I gotta get a ladder.
If I can get over the first hurdle and I know how to get over the first hurdle, then I could probably do about 2 laps. That's what my stamina would tell me. But my ability, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to try it.
Could I even do one of those leaps where you approach it and hop over it?
No,
like I don't know.
Probably do the one with the body over it, one leg crawl over.
Probably
really slowly.
Because the slow method. And I'd want to build one not because I think I'd excel. It's just that's the type of workout that's just so complete. Like a complete body workout. Everything. Like it's.
I bet you can build on your own thing out there or something. I don't know. Just get something heavy with a platform or something like that.
Ours would be like 1/4 the size. It's just hopping over back and forth.
But the totem pole challenge, 135 kilos on each side. That's about 300 pounds on each side.
Oh, before we say that though, I will say that the hurdle one, they said that one, whoever wins that determines the tiebreaker though. So it's very important that they chose.
And you made it.
I thought, because I wasn't understanding that rule too as well. Because I initially had thought that whatever the tiebreaker was, it was going to go back and they would have to redo that challenge.
I thought that at first.
Right? But it's not.
But no, it's just whatever the results were.
Yeah. Why did they put so much weight on just the hurdle one then? I don't get it.
I think it's just one of those psychological twists that they wanted to add into the game. just to get people to sort of in the divvying of people,
better.
The divvying of people, because they could have made it anyone. We could say the tiebreaker goes to the other challenger or whatever, but they just made it one, and then. But you made a point earlier about the whole Korea. You know, they had the throwaway mission with the ropes. They just kind of said, and then kind of again, sort of here, where
kind of again, sort of.
They just said, let's maximize our best talent on the zigzag hurdle, and then everything else is just kind of like we'll do our best. You know.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if a multi was challenging in any of those competitions, like. I guess that's where the factor comes in, because you can only use a multi once. But I think a multi, if he did the hurdle thing, he would destroy that too. If he did the hanging thing, he would destroy that.
I think he still lost a Don Tomato.
I mean, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
Don Tomato would have murdered him. Like
for the zigzag hurdle.
The zigzag hurdle.
But I think,
but it depends on but it's because it's a partnership. It depends on who. If Don Tomato still had the same partner, or if he had a different partner. But
like they would still have a chance if it came down to something like that. But
so like in combination, it would have been Young Sin Ben or whatever, and then
instead of Dong Hyun Kim, it would have been a Mati and Young Sin Ben.
Yeah, Young Sin Ben, which would have been a very good challenge against, Australia's dude, in the hurdles or whatever.
But then, that just goes to your point. You don't get to see the matchups from, like, you would want to see all of them do that same competition. Just to kind of see where people are at.
Who's the most dominant.
But since you're having to allocate different things for this one, you kind of like, well, what would have happened if this happened or whatnot on there? So
it always leaves that question mark, that void, that space of just what ifs, which keeps the show continuously interesting, because we want to see that dynamic. But
these decisions matter too. It's not just about competing. Your decisions for how you allocate things has huge consequences.
Grave consequences.
Can be grave. It could be good, but yeah. And again, back with my point earlier about some of these challenges being kind of impossible to gauge unless you did it.
Yeah.
So now you have to allocate people without having a sense of. Really, is it the best trait to go there? And
like even this one, the totem one, like I was thinking, man, Korea definitely is going to be the first one to drop, because they got a girl, and it just doesn't feed to that power. I mean, she's got to like hold her upper body strength of this totem and grip strength and overall, body strength. And then they're up against two very large men on each side. Yeah. So I was like, going this one, I thought it was just the lost thing. It was just like Korea's gone lost or whatever.
I kind of thought that too, but I had a feeling Philippines was.
I thought Philippines was going to actually be the one to take this one.
Yeah, because
that's what I had in my head.
I always go back to my original presuppositions of weight on weight-based challenges matter. So if you're moving weight, if you're holding weight or whatever, weight-based challenges, your own weight is a huge aspect you bring to the table. Philippines was the heaviest team collectively. Yeah. And so I just thought, again, with that presupposition that would be the case. And now I know why the games are so brilliantly designed, because it can smash that presupposition, or you would think that's the case, but then when you actually go through it, you watch it's a different element too. There's maybe some strategy at play. It's not just about the brute strength of holding. Maybe you do shift with your teammate, shift your hips or shift your body in certain stances. But
I just didn't have faith in the
that big dude.
Yeah, that guy.
That big dude is the biggest loser, man.
He's the biggest liability on your team.
They're strong man in the Philippines.
Like he's strong and he held it strong, but like it's something about him. But even like the rugby player on there too, he's had calls in the past where it's just kind of like. It kind of doesn't work, but putting them two together for this one, like I knew they were going to do decent, but
Rage.
I just felt like they were going to lose for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. I just had that feeling.
I had a feeling that Ray was ready to like redeem himself, and Justin, their rugby player, is also really good.
But maybe Justin was somebody lost a grip or something. I forget.
So that was my thoughts going into it, and even Justin made that comment. The rugby player said, "Hey, we're the heaviest team, you and me." So I was like, "Yeah, man, this is his time to redeem himself." They're talking about Philippines being an upset.
They needed it too.
They needed it
bad,
knowing that they had two females So take the Philippines perspective. We talk about Korea sort of allocating women, sort of the throwaway mission. I don't want to say it's throwaway because Robin, their female, is a hurdler. So this is what
that was her thing. Yeah.
But they did, when they talked about it strategically, they did want to allocate their sort of best resources on their team to the other missions, I believe. And and so with that, then they kind of didn't probably expect to get 3 points in the hurdle, zigzag hurdle. So they're down. So they only got 1 point from the zigzag hurdle. So they're in the last place. So they need it. I thought they would redeem themselves. Mm-hmm. They got 9 minutes and 42 seconds in that mission. And so you'll see Korea too here. This is what's really cool. So a lot of these details are easy to miss, but Korea outlasted them. They had 17 minutes, 33 seconds in holding the totem poles. We don't know how long Australia could have went because they didn't have to go anymore, but they eventually dropped it. And so kudos to Korea for getting second place there, because I could have swore they would have been a winning team. But look at this shot right here, though. So when the next squad went up, they had that little technical difficulty with the
Team Japan.
Team Japan, which is kind of weird or whatever. Ultimately, it didn't matter, but they kind of got lucky because of that. Ultimately, their score, even if they scored 1, they still would have placed the same. But they kind of got lucky because it's weird that even happened. They're the lightest team, or
no, Mongolia.
Yeah, very close. Again, approximate weights.
Yeah.
But so their score didn't matter. So they were Turkey and Mongolia was the only one competing. And again, I probably think everybody felt Turkey's going to take this, man. They got Risa, man. Mm-hmm. They got Yasmin.
Yasmin. She's when it comes to strength, she is one of the men. She's right up there. She's a top tier.
Top tier.
When they made 16 minutes and 15 seconds, but after they dropped it, Mongolia was the only one left. But in their minds, they were probably told, you just need to hold on as long as you can because Japan can't compete right now.
Yeah, just in case.
It's a time-based challenge. And I don't know if Japan, then you get to the thing about would Japan know what their time is? Because that's an advantage if Japan knew what their time was, whatever. So then Mongolia, their female judo wrestler and Ink Orgil, their scrappy guy, they just had to hold on. They got 41 minutes.
Very impressed. Man.
Very 41 minutes. Now, I get it that they had to hold on as well. So if Australia had to hold on, who knows? Maybe they could have reached. I don't know.
Yeah,
they could have gave it up. And I don't know if Japan was even trying because ultimately they had that quick clip of them doing it and then they just dropped it.
They didn't even need it.
I don't know if they actually tried to compete. Or
I think the idea was at that time, because they said something that they would do it later on in the day.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they just did it immediately. So I think by that time they already knew. We're not at the bottom. We can't get eliminated. So why even care?
So I'm highlighting Mongolia's 41 minutes because it's damn impressive. We don't know if any of the other, if Australia's pair could have hit that number.
Yeah.
This little squad could hit that number. Japanese men could have hit that, but they're a tiny squad. So then it goes back to the challenge. What is it about this challenge that would allow for these two smaller people to hold on for that long, outlast these bigger, strong people?
The small little scrappy guy, he's just he's not on the level, man. He's a top
I swear, when he was holding and they put the camera on his face, his hair all looked like a demon.
But you see his like his delts and his arms are just, they're like gorilla-like. Yeah. They're just like gorillas, like a monkey, you know? Just on a different level. That
She's
guy
heavier than him, too.
Yeah.
That was deadly.
I was, because the numbers go by really fast when I watch it. When I go back again and actually think about, okay, who did this person get and what did that team get? I'm so impressed by them getting that number.
I knew that they were a long time. I had no idea there was that drastic of a contrast and difference. Because I remember one part in one scene when the first three teams were going against each other that I loved, that was like gave me chills, was when Korea, they didn't want to give in and they were fighting so hard, and then Kim, the big guy, started just singing the national anthem, and I was like, oh, like this is amazing. It was just almost like you know,
gotta win this now.
Yeah, it's torturous. It's painful, but you know, you just find some hope, and you just started singing, and then she started singing with them, and they just kept holding on. But then we did 17 minutes.
Well, at the time, that's a huge number. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think even with them, it was their grip, the Korean grip, where they held it that way. I think that helped out a lot for them too.
But even then, I was so impressed because it was again the guy girl versus the two men, you know, and for Korea to have slipped through and made it at least to second place, I was so impressed by that. I was so impressed by the girl Jang, just her holding on, you know, amongst, you know, again, big old men around her. She was able to actually pull through and actually pull second place for Korea to actually pull through. But then again,
they needed it. Yeah,
they needed it bad. Yeah. But again, now in hindsight, a smaller guy, not their tank, and then another female girl.
But she's strong.
And they hold 41 minutes. My God, there's something brutally strong about the horse meat that the Mongolians are eating, man. Just something going on.
Maybe that's how long you could have with them. All the way turkey though. You see, after turkey lost, the guy was like, "Oh, I had recent surgery." I was like, "If you had that, then why even like choose this?"
I remember then Yasmin's face was just like. She was mad.
I know, I could tell she was mad because it was his fault, you know.
And you know what? And I caught this too, little details, and I don't know how much to read into this, but they're struggling. He's like, Yasmin, let go.
And he kept telling her to just give up, huh?
But why? Because he didn't want to look in theirs. Yeah. That's terrible, though. Like,
to be the leader.
That's why she was kind of mad at him. Like, what do you mean? That's not in my mentality. I don't want to let go. I can still hold on. Why are you telling me to let go? Like,
you have to understand. I have that was like, why would you even do? Or at least you gotta say it to your team or something
like,
before.
I'm a liability in this one. I
mean, dude,
I can't look bad. Just let go.
Yasmin, let go, and then finally he's like, I couldn't do it, and then
Because imagine him doing the toss instead of maybe he would have been better at the toss or something like that. But you never know.
No, I don't know about the toss. The toss it requires a lot of squatting. That's why I knew that whatchamacallit is going to do really, really well.
The rower. On which team?
On the Korean guy. A multi. Yeah. I knew a multi because a multi, remember from the other seasons, they had to do that squat challenge. That throw, it has a lot to do with squatting and upper body lifting and stuff like that. But the energy comes from your legs to jump up and push that energy up. So I knew Amadi had that one in the bag. I never doubted him once, even with all the times that he just kept messing up over. Yeah, I just felt like, no, he's just messing around. Like, that's
I was getting scared there. I was like, oh, is this where Korea ends?
I was convinced at one point. I was convinced, like, man, Korea's already done. Like, already. Wow. Because
he kept on messing up like that. But once he got in his groove, he was like unstoppable.
I wasn't worried once. I knew Amadi was going to push it through. He's only just messing around. He's just going.
Man, they always want to make this.
I know, just making
stuff about their cameras and the editing and stuff like that. Like a 5-minute thing in actual real life. They could put like a whole 30-minute dramatized montage and everything together. That's what I love about it.
What is Recep's little thing? He goes like he hits this thing off his knee. You'll see it in he does it once. The platform one, the episode 1 when they win, he slaps his knee and he goes like this or something like that. That's what they should have did. That's his move. That's his signature.
Yeah, but did you see his face though when the guy actually got to the sand or the ball tossing one over the thing?
He was so nervous.
He was so nervous sitting in the back, and he's just like, "Oh man, we're gonna lose. Yeah, I think we're gonna lose." And when they lost, like his face was just like,
as a leader,
and as the leader of that team's full disappointment because he knows it's his fault too. But he was like trying to hope for this guy to save us. But he just didn't come through, and it just kind of.
Well, you can tell him as a leader. He's one of those leaders that he's extremely prideful. I mean, this is him. As a man, he's prideful. I'm the leader of my squad. Like, I have to lead my team to victory. And for them, even when they won the very first, platform games,
territorial.
I can tell like that sense of pride in him and his team just it was pouring, you know, and they wanted to drive that momentum. They were the team to beat at that point in time. They were like, hey, you know, we can't underestimate these guys, you know, like,
and everybody thought Australia was the best, and it's like, fine, let's go 1-on-1 with Australia in the territorial thing, and they beat Australia in the territorial. So,
and they have a very, very good squad too. All the females were very strong. All the males were pretty good up there.
I really liked them.
And then him being the leader, you know, like I could tell it burned him. It hurt a lot. Yeah, he's just a very prideful guy.
It hurt the whole team. I could tell, and they were so hurt, like they wanted to win so bad because that's the whole. That's the vibe you're in this competition. You have to win at all costs. Like this is the thing you want the most. Like people are competitive, but this is on another level. And and for
willing
them
to die for it.
And then it showcases the cultural element too of the way some countries feel like when they compete or represent their country, or that sort of competitive mindset plays out in a lot of these competitions too. So Turkey's one of those very prideful of their country and very just want to represent.
They had their chance though, because on the hanging ring one though, that chick the female one, she came through for them though. I thought she was gonna.
But she plays second, right?
Yeah, she plays second.
Turkey?
Yeah, Turkey, yeah.
They had their sailor, the male do it.
Oh, who's the one?
The one you're thinking about, Australia.
Australia,
yeah. So we talk about the hanging one when the rings suddenly drop. And then I was looking, I'm like, man, this is going to be easy. Man, I could do this, you know? Like just put your feet in one hole, hands on the other ones on hold. That literally was probably the most torturous battle yet, you know, for me, like the way I look at it, because all the other ones, I mean, it's more in short term. This one is that longevity, slow burn of torture. It was like being hung on a cross or something, you know. It was like, and that girl, the Australian girl, she just broke down and started crying. You remember? And like she's like holding. I'm just like, man, this is torture to the next level. They're just holding on to dear life. And I kept thinking, man, they're still pretty high up there. What if like your foot gets caught in that ring and you fall, you break your ankle, you know, just be hanging on that. But
you only fall right down.
I mean, you do fall right down, but even then, like it could snap your ankle if your feet gets caught inside that ring or whatever. But either or.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, in that matchup, it was the Japanese girl that does the
I'll show you.
No, she wasn't the wrestler.
What Japanese? It's right here.
Yeah.
She was the CrossFit one.
No, it's wrestler, right?
You're talking about the Japanese.
Japanese. The Korean one was the.
The Korean.
The CrossFitter.
Yeah, and the Japanese was the wrestler.
Yeah, we'll jump into this one too. My presuppositions going into this one, I kind of have this general sense. Men have stronger cores than women, like per explosion and output, but in terms of longevity, in terms of the types of core muscle strength, women have that strength that endures and can withstand a lot. So I thought the women would I just had a presupposition that women would have an advantage of this one. And I'm getting to the minds of the designers of the game, because they don't want to design every game for just where males have the advantage because of their strength. They have to design, I'm assuming they have to design some games where it highlights the strengths of what women do really well that men aren't as good at. Yeah. So I thought this would be one of them. And I think there's some of that in place. So that's why when the first challenge, when Korea and Australia and Philippines win at it, I thought Mark Mugen would lose. I just kind of threw it out there. I wasn't convinced of it, but if I had to predict, I thought he would lose because I just thought the core of these women would hold. And impressively, he's another one of those guys like Soichi where just can't lose. Like he's so good, you know. It's unfortunate that he's not on the competition anymore. But Mark Mugen, like man, he held out really well. And then, but overall,
he pushed it in.
I mean, what was fascinating about this one too, because this one happens first. This competition happens first. And then it's the next episode that this one happens. And then I look back at the times and she was so brokenhearted because the female from Korea, when she fell first, so brokenhearted because they needed the points. So they couldn't fall in last place.
The CrossFit girl.
And it's sort of because of her that now their situation's a little bit precarious and going into the next one. But man, like I look back at her time was 2 hours and 42 minutes.
I did not even
more
know that.
than everyone on the other competition. Wow. That's so crazy.
That is a huge significant difference.
Yeah.
See, I'm impressed that you put this together, because I had no idea the disparities between, you know, the times between the episodes against each other.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
So they did change up the second one where they had to let go of their two hands earlier. So I think the first one they actually went longer of holding
So
the hands.
you mean the hooked feet?
No, the hook feet people, or in the one hand too.
So I didn't, because I thought I didn't.
else.
Oh, really? Because I know that they had the hooked feet, and I think the hooked feet, if I were to guess, they didn't anticipate anyone would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
why they had to almost.
Well, the second one, they actually forced you to unhook your feet.
Yeah, you have to unhook your feet.
So you mean the second? No, they both did in both competitions.
They both did, but
But to your point, Chris, like at what point did they force the unhooking? Because I think that was the only difference in both matches. It's still just one hand, right? At one point, you'll
All of them came to the point where it was one hand.
all of
used
them
to
did
be
that.
all your
Yep.
limbs, and
So
then
but I guess
one hand.
the time frame for when that had to take place, I was assuming they were consistent on both sides. But the hooked feet, it was Alexandra from Australia that just said, "Hey, this works."
She's the
And
one who started
no
it.
one said anything that was wrong with that. So
Yeah.
I think the people who were planning the competition was like, "Oh crap, we didn't anticipate that." Now they've been up there for like 2.5 hours. Like, let's just say they have to unhook their feet. But then they allowed the second team to do it for a while, and then they had a time where they said, "Okay, time to unhook your feet." I'm not sure if that was the same time consistently across. So, but anyways,
But
even
Legend-
so, 2 hours and 42 minutes before you fell, and
But Legend
Damn
tells
impressive.
you, Legend says the circus guy is still there right now. He's still up there hanging, just sleeping.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. So if he were to be in this group, yeah, that would have been a crazy matchup because he didn't have to stay there anymore. So if he could have been up there a lot longer. And
Yeah, Anil, the sailor dude.
You kept on copying everything.
Yeah,
from-
but it came to the point where he's just like, I knew he wanted to give up, but he didn't want to. He didn't want to give up in a way where he just gives up and falls.
fell and-
But so he intentionally, I know that he
You think so?
intentionally grabbed it. I don't think it was accident. I think it wasn't a mind over matter kind of thing where he forgot.
Yeah.
I think it was more over his mind just going, you know, I'm just gonna cheat and give up, and then I lost a technicality. What, you know, like because he
Maybe.
pushed that far too. But I just felt like he couldn't do it anymore. But he didn't also want to have to lose face by falling and actually showing that he
think-
lost on his team.
I think he kind of just messed up because the way it happened,
kept coming
he
close,
went
right?
there, but then he realized it, and so he went down like that. But by that time, it was like too late already.
I remember him. He did it a couple times, but he just went like this.
yeah, he came close.
He kept
to it.
going
He
like this.
Almost went to it. Yeah.
You know, and this time he was just like, okay. No, no.
Oh, wait. Oh, hopefully no one saw that. Well, I mean that's I mean that who knows? Maybe that's the case because that's perspective.
But that would have been crazy if he were to be in the contortionist. Then.
because I take it like it was a genuine accident only because of how broken up he was about it. Like it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about how Turkey wanted this so bad and that they needed the points and that like he felt like he let his team down because of that. Like like I made this mistake. Like if I fell, at least I knew I gave it my all, you know. Absolutely everything, every ounce of myself. But this is like I failed them out of a mental mistake. And I can he was talking, he was giving commentary. His eyes were all teared up and everything. So I can tell it really broke him. And
So that was the turkey. Yeah. So that was the turkey. That's why Turkey in the end really needed it too.
and that was a very good competition too, because I forget that he was a sailor, an Olympic sailor, and that's exactly kind of your alley too. Because if you're pulling on your little sailboat, this going through the waves, that's your
Grip
core
strength.
grip strength. So I thought, man, maybe this guy has a chance against Lakva Otstrier, you know, and the circus guy. But yeah,
I was just hoping because the sailor guy was like copying everything. Like the Mongolian dude was just like flipping upside down or
Do
something,
some
like,
crazy moves.
That's what I was hoping.
I know.
Watch this one.
Some weird splits or something. Come on, copy me now.
I mean, he was doing some different stuff, but
crazy
he didn't
stuff,
want to.
yeah.
He didn't want to put it too risky. He tried to.
I know.
This one. We lost because I was showing off.
Sorry, team.
But he was doing some like stretches and
Yeah.
stuff like that every now and then.
Yeah, no, that competition is really tough. I wonder how it would have been different if from the beginning you could never hook your feet I think the idea, because that's a huge difference of just your.
It does. It helps.
Like you're just holding on. So the hooking of the feet does give you such a big relief, but I don't think they anticipated that. So
Yeah.
I feel like that this is the one competition where like the contestants who did this one, it's not something you'd forget for a long time. The excruciating pain of almost 3 hours of.
Well, apparently they did because they went on to the next competition.
I know, but I feel like this is one of those things that will haunt you for a while because you're holding on and you want to let go, but you can't because you're looking right at your competitors and they're still hanging on. So you're stuck there. And it's one of those events that go on forever. That's almost 3 hours. So you're like literally like 40 minutes in, an hour in now, and you're still like, you're literally
you're all in.
shaking.
If you're
like
2 hours in, you can't go make that go all to waste by falling. Yeah.
You can't go now, like I have to at least come out second or win this now. It is one of those excruciating competitions where it is like, for me, if I did that, I think that would haunt me for a long time. I would go to sleep and still be like, no, wake up. Like I get nightmares about that shit,
Yeah.
because it's excruciating. It's so painful and you just can't give in, because now if you're doing it all by yourself, right? And you have no other competitions and they're just measuring you by yourself, like how long can you hold, and then you give up whenever you want and you only have yourself, then that's a little bit different than whenever it's just like painful, okay, I give up, but when you actually are up against someone, you're seeing that they're holding on, so you have to hold on, and you're literally now going close to 3 hours. It's been a long time.
I know,
and
it's literally any second.
Yep.
Any second someone could just screw up.
Yep, any second. So just hold on one more second longer, but then another 10 minutes, another 20 minutes, to the point where Alexandra's she's crying now. She's just like, I can't do it.
I can't give up. Give it to her. She wanted them.
Just someone fall. Just please. Like, I can't do it. That is torture. That's literally torture right there.
And kudos to her because she didn't have to. And they were at the point advantage where she could have won last. It doesn't matter. Because they had so many. They placed first and everything else that her winning didn't. They didn't need her to win essentially, and so she did it for her own.
You remember what she said? It was because of that very first platform thing where it was her fault that they lost.
It was her fault.
So
she wanted to redeem herself.
She wanted to redeem. Yeah,
she did.
But I mean, she earned my respect in that round.
2 hours and 43 minutes.
Yeah, by the end of that round, I was like, she's got heart though. She proved herself. She pushed it.
Yeah, that's what you mean. The whole scary. Oh, this is just too much. I'm just gonna cheat. Oh man. Oh man.
It's over. I can't do it. Dang it.
Well, this leads us to the final game of this one, the ball one.
Yeah.
And again,
the sack.
I'm going to reiterate just the brilliant design of every one of these little simple games. I love the fact that each game is just so simple, but it incorporates a certain strategy, a certain technique, and a certain ability of your strength or speed or endurance or whatever it might be. But something as simple as just tossing a weighted ball over and over again. It's so simple, but it's so exciting too. It's like something that you'd make up as kids, and just be like, hey guys, I bet you I can do this and you can do that.
I bet you I can beat you. All right, fine. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Let's go then. And you just do it all day.
Physical bet.
And it's but it's so brilliant that way, And the ball toss game, when I was watching, that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. Just like, man, it's just like whoever figured this out, design. It felt like kids made this up, but it makes perfect sense, and it's just so entertaining to see this ball fly over and over again, and who's gonna be the one that's gonna lose. And the fact that, again, in the same scenario, you're competing against someone. You're not going against time. You're not going against a certain force or anything. You're going against other contestants where it's like, as soon as you see that ball fall over on your side, you're like, oh God, okay.
Can't be the first.
I gotta get it over. I got it over. But by the time it comes back around to your side too, and the fact that it's 3, so you get that, you get that short break, that little bit of rest, just to kind of recuperate a little bit. But as soon as that ball falls on your side again, that's it for the tanks.
That's why I felt so bad for Philippines.
Justin Hernandez.
Yeah, Justin, because his ball kept on going all the way to dragon, didn't do it.
I know.
I saw that happening too, but
it does make you wonder, like, if it had been changed, would it made any difference had Monty been on that side? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. It probably didn't drain you too much by having to chase the ball. I think what's a little bit more devastating might be a mental game, because for him to be on that side, he just knew the ball. The thing was flying over like so high up anyways. He just knew it was coming his way. So you don't have to think about that. Where Monty was sitting there thinking maybe in his head like, oh, like please, this is the one. Oh, okay. The mental game of like the ball did go over. Okay, now I got to do it, and have to keep doing that over again, because that can wear you down too. Just that mental game.
Well, yeah, I see that.
But when you kind of expect that the ball's going to come no matter what, you're kind of just prepared.
You're already prepared for it.
Yeah,
mentally, it's not as taxing on you because you're just sort of prepared. But the hard part is we're not talking about like 5 or 10 reps. They hit 120 plus reps of this. So that's why it's like carrying it from over there, coming back. And then they said, well, now we're going to reduce it to 20 seconds. So every second matters. And that's where that sense of like, oh man, that is kind of a disadvantage in some regard. But I think the bigger disadvantage though was just his height. And that was my presupposition going into this. Obviously you need weight, because if you're tossing weight and the weight is equally distributed across, you're not throwing a proportion of your weight, you're throwing the same weight, then your own weight has an advantage. And the height, because if you're doing the motion of a squat in your arm, your body just becomes a lever, sort of. Your body becomes like your knees become like the fulcrum. You're using your whole body as a machine to lift this, to build the kinetic energy to lift this thing over. But if you're taller, your machine just has more range. You have more. The shorter Justin Hernandez still has power, very much so, especially in his lower body. But if you don't have the same height, that's just harder for you, I think. So that was my thinking going into it. I don't know how much of a huge difference it was, but I think being shorter does put you at a disadvantage of this, because
I think so.
Just naturally, it was 4 meters tall. Comparatively, that's taller than official basketball. The backboard, even a little bit too, about 6 inches beyond that maybe. So you start off with a 30-pound thing, and then go to 35-pound, then 40. You think about them in plates, the weighted plates at the gym. Imagine
pretty heavy.
A 35-pound plate and throwing it over the backboard, like,
I think I could do it, but
I
don't know if I could do it once.
I don't think so. I think I could do it. I could probably maybe hit the ceiling close. I don't think I hit the ceiling.
35.
I think I could. Plate. I mean, if it's a ball, 35-pound plate at 13 feet, I could probably get it over once.
Yeah, maybe once. Yeah.
And maybe a ball, when you think about it in the form of a ball, when you think about a plate, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the form of a ball. Don't think of it as a
so then if you were to do it, right? Because I kind of noticed this too as well. Between the Japanese guy and an Amati.
Japanese, I thought it was even better than Amati. His technique was the best.
So technique wise, I noticed that he started switching up a little bit. So, like for example, would you throw it like this?
Open hand or
both hands like this with palms up, because technically what I think technique wise, like maybe at the very beginning when it's a little bit lighter, right, and you still have a lot of energy, you should try in both ways so you can get comfortable with it. So then, because when you're throwing like this, you're using so much of your delts to swing like that up, to really throw the ball up with your legs and your upper body and everything. But when you're going this way, right, it uses the front part of your delts and almost kind of a little bit of your maybe some of your biceps and then your and then your lats and stuff like that. Very much on the lats, very heavy on the lats all the time, because I've done this before.
Like the kettlebells, sort of, right?
Yeah, the kettlebell swings. But I used to do this at the park when I used to train too as well. I remember I was throwing.
When have you ever trained at the park?
When I used to train,
like we used to be throwing football or something like that, and I remember throwing something heavy, not like this, but I remember throwing it over the fence over and over again, and it kills your lats.
Yeah.
But going this way kills your lats even harder. Where this way swings more over into your arms and your delts. But if one side's getting really exhausted and tired, because at some point you're going 100-something rounds already.
Yeah.
Something's gonna give in, and maybe it's your delts, maybe it's your lats, or maybe it's your legs, one of those things. But if if you're able to balance that, split that into a couple different sides, you can keep going. Yep, you can keep going a little bit further. So that's kind of what I think the Japanese guy was doing. He was kind of switching it back and forth just to relax some of those muscles.
I only saw him do it this way.
I only saw him
palms up,
and I think that's probably the best technique because.
And I think he was the only person I feel like who did it palms up. I feel like,
and he even explained it too. Like all I have to do is get into a position where I know I'm gonna make it if I just stay consistent with the swing, the power every single time, no matter what, it's gonna go over, and it worked for him. Like
his form just looked different too.
Yeah,
like your mentality going into this, you want to be like Eddie Williams, the big guy. Just I'm gonna launch it. Rah! That's what you think. And I think that's why Amati had some difficulty at first because you're thinking in your head, I'm going to just launch it. But it's not necessarily like you want to launch it. Maybe if it's just once or twice, but if it's for longevity, you want to perfect an easy form. And there's something about your release point too in your swing. Yoshio, the Japanese guy, I felt like his release point was so early. Like his hands were off the ball. Like it looks like he was throwing powder in the air every time.
LeBron
powder in there. Yeah. But it was perfect though. The arc was always consistently good. It wasn't necessarily too hard. It didn't like barely go over because you don't want to unnecessarily throw it really hard. That's where Amati, I feel like, was messing up. It's not because he was fatiguing. He was like forcing it. Like and that's why he couldn't get it. Like what kind of angle? Am I releasing it too soon? Am I releasing it too late? And what kind of angle am I? And that's why whenever he did miss, his thing would hit the wooden thing, but it hit it with force because he's just. It's not like he's struggling. It's just he's not doing it right. But Yoshio he did it so gracefully, like
every single time.
Throwing powder in the air. And he's like, and he always say, what would he always? He'd say some Japanese terms, like, and they're like, whoa. And
it was just perfect are just like, man, you got this, man. That form looks so good. You got this. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. The disappointing part was for me. I was hoping like it would keep going, like a top tier, a top winner, like one against one. You know, it just ended after that because I really wanted to see a one-on-one thing to see who actually comes in first and second and third. But I guess since that's the last event, it really didn't matter or something.
Because of the points, because you do the points for everyone, 3 points, 2
it's
points,
already,
so they know.
Already, it doesn't matter who wins or whatever, you can give in. But it would have been nice to see them go against each other one-on-one, just to see. Because who knows, what if Amati somehow beats the big dude, Eddie?
Yeah.
That would have been like crazy, They would have been like, oh my God, like Amati actually beat Eddie at this thing like that. And it'll show, it's not so much just for the victory points of it, but it's actually the moral victory of beating. Like, hey, we can beat them. Like, look, Eddie, he seems like this impossible, super powerful, strong guy, and we can beat him. We found his weaknesses, He gets tired at this point, or we just got to keep pushing this point and he'll give in or something like that. And it will expose some of the weaknesses. But that's what I was hoping that it would actually keep going and doing. But they kind of ended it. I didn't think Eddie was going to lose to Amati, it would have been.
But you never know. But there's so many times we think something's going to happen, and it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Because it reveals the brilliance of the game too. Like, who knows? Let's just pretend that they did keep going, and they got to like 150 reps. And Eddie, every time they showed him, he was like tossing it so high.
Yeah.
But maybe he wore himself out, and then now, like, no matter what he's like, his arms are just dead. Like he just. Even though it's like, I can do this, but man, we're on rep 175 now. And Amati is also struggling, but he's perfected some form. Who knows? It'd be cool to be surprised like that.
Well, for me, it was a perfect matchup to actually see a real battle. It's supposed to be a battle. Like, I wanted to see a one-on-one battle, like towards the end. Who's going to take it off? Who's going to win it? Yep. And just to see who stands on top of the mountain at the end of the day. Let's get into the battle zone of one-on-one now and just keep going and just see exactly who gives in first. That would have been really interesting. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed that it just ended, in both scenarios.
Yeah, both scenarios. I don't know if it's the point system or if that was intended to be. Well, I think it was the point system because every game is 3-2-1. So they had to determine who got 3 and 2, and it must have been at that point it didn't matter who got 3 and 2. So that's why they just ended it.
In the end, Turkey ends up losing, and then Philippines ends up.
No, Indonesia.
I mean.
Philippines.
Philippines. So Philippines and Turkey end up losing, which I thought Turkey from the beginning might have been able to get up top, but
It went exactly as I predicted in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not lying. That's exactly what I was imagining. It was just something that I just kind of sensed because one, it wasn't the charismatic and power of Turkey as well as the Philippines. I just didn't think they were gonna be able to pull through with it. I mean, Philippines lost Manny Pacquiao. I was like, forget about the Philippines now. Unless the other guy just showed up and was just this beast of a beast or something. He's pretty beastly. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like he
should have been there from the beginning.
Yeah. No. It would have been a very different dynamic, but I don't know. I just had a feeling Indonesia and Philippines were going to be the ones that were knocked out. Maybe in my head because
Turkey and Philippines were knocked out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Turkey. Yeah. Turkey for me was one of the teams that was the surprise. I thought they were going to go much further. I would have liked to have seen them go to the next round. Turkey was one of those teams that, hey, you know what? You're not very fun or you're not rooting for Turkey, but at the same time, they had a lot of character. You really wanted them to stay in the games, and they were a very, very good team too. Yeah. Like they were one of those teams where it was kind of like, oh, I don't know, like they can take it all. I don't know how the other teams are going to beat them.
The way they operate too, and they just show fearlessness. Like there's something different about the way how Turkey competes. Like just the competing, not just competing, but how they cheer each other on. Yeah. How they decide things. How they're very prideful. Like they don't want to lose it for their team member. Like they want to. There's just something about the way they do that, and they're just always like, "Oro, bravo, bravo," and always cheering their team on.
Bravo. They were the most serious team. They took it's so to heart to them. Yeah. They took every single game so seriously. They loved and enjoyed every moment of it. And I knew that they were trying like hard as they possibly could. It would have been good to have seen Turkey move on. I did not predict that one.
It was also just fascinating. Again, I go back to the drawing of the straws and how when Japan and Philippines drew at the same time, Japan showed B, and their team they were cheering. So then naturally, I thought, why would you? You're cheering. How did Turkey feel about that in Mongolia? They're like, well, you're cheering B going against us, fine. But they're cheering like, yes, we got, I guess, in the easier bracket.
Just because they're not against Australia,
Yeah. And so, so Soichio said it's not necessarily because I'm avoiding them. It's they wanted to go against Turkey because they had a lot of people had bad blood with Turkey because they won the first one, and they did it through means of let's partner with you guys and just bully on this team.
Oh yeah,
they did it smart, whatever.
That's Mongolia,
and it was the sailor from Turkey that tossed Soichi out of there, so he had it. That's why he wanted to go against them. So
yeah,
and then Mongolia, their leader was like, I hope Turkey draws B to land with us,
because they ganged up on them the first one.
Like, they're like the bad guys on the team, but they're also a lot of character and they have so much team like pride and just unfortunate that. But I mean, at that point, all these teams are pretty darn good. So
kudos to both of those teams.
So we say goodbye to them.
Get a little arm wrestling competition bracket.
Oh, yeah, the little mini games, man.
We gotta do that next time. See who wins, though.
Yeah,
again, brilliantly crafted games. Like, and I know these games sort of like exist. It's not like they created these games, but brilliantly thought of for this sort of competition,
just
like
for fun and shit,
because it's not you don't have to do real arm wrestling. That could be hazardous. You could break your arm or whatever. This is just for fun, and then your technique and all that stuff.
Man, I don't know. I thought Amati's arm was gonna break with.
Yeah, one time when
Okami was like twisting it. I was like, it's about to break.
And I think
this arm bar.
That was Okami's like
Kimura.
Okami's obviously very good at this leverage stuff, but Amati made a comment like, every time I get you in a position of advantage, you always manage to like take your hand away. Like, and I don't know if there's any rules about that. Like you're just trying to slip away or whatever, take your hand away. Cause you can't, he's like, you can't just be taking your hand away like that. And then, so that happened. But then Okami, bigger guy than the Mongolian MMA fighter, the scrappy guy. And those two were going at it for long time. So that just showcases his pound for pound ability too. But mini games were pretty good.
And what was it again? Like who won? I mean, obviously Australia won, but did they get an advantage or something like that?
It's just for fun, but it was
bragging rights.
Because they did that last season with the whole
box jump, chin ups and stuff.
But it's all the other seasons they did it amongst each other.
Yeah.
Because they were just, I can jump higher than you. Let's do this. And then they were just showing off in front of each other. Yeah. But this one, they actually they like that spirit. So they're like, why let's create so many games to play against each other. But they didn't want to play for anything of consequence and value.
I like that because it's sort of the tension. You can just have fun, but actually still compete. But there's no tension there. And it was actually pretty exciting. Like when the Mongolian, their leader, went up against Big Eddie Williams, like, ooh, like Eddie Williams, he's just so heavy and strong. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
But the Korean wrestler, their big guy, almost got him for a little bit. Just for a little bit. But yeah, the next challenge here, then they went into the ropes challenge. The way they designed this too.
Fucked up.
The way they design the game is very fascinating. I love how they come up with these games. I love how they get crafty with only choose your best three without saying what'll happen next, and that some teams kind of knew. Well, I think all teams knew like something's up.
You had to have known something. Yeah. You can't just go, just pick your top three, or just let your top three play without any kind of
that option
back in consequence.
Like maybe we can do our top three, or our top three and win it all.
It's a gamble.
We can just skip to the next one.
That's exactly what Australia's game plan was. Because they thought, our top three guys, we'll just dominate this one and we'll just be guaranteed locked in, because they got too confident. That's what happened. And that confidence slipped you up, and they fucked up bad because
and honestly, it backfired on them. Yeah,
it did backfire, because the thing was, for like, if I was on Australia's team, they wasted Eddie on the ropes thing. Big guys aren't made and designed for the rope, because that's endurance. That's not just strength, but it's also endurance. It's also
it might help
longevity. Trust me, I do those ropes things all the time in my gym, and it's not just strength. Strength plays a big role in it, but it also requires so much longevity and endurance, just pushing yourself. And Eddie's not built for endurance; he's built for brute strength. So it would have been perfect in the.
Would you put Dom or one of the
point,
females?
They wouldn't know. They don't know what's happening next.
Yeah, they don't.
So they just say, if we win, we go. Who's our best three? You three.
Yeah,
I guess that's just how they think. They thought of it. But that's their downfall. They didn't really think about it enough. They just thought our best three auto win. We're gonna automatically win. So.
But when they find out the next round, and Eddie gets so excited, I was made for this. This is my competition. And now and then when they go, no, you can't compete if you compete in the ropes. They make it seem like it was like they got cheated on. Like, what? No, that's so unfair. Well,
you guys did this on purpose, didn't you?
It was unfair to have your three top guys against other people too in the first round. What are you talking about? They make it seem like, you guys pulled a quick one on us. You're cheating. No. That's the way
they weren't 100% blindsided, because I went back and watched it. They made comments saying, "Yeah, there probably is something coming next, but we're just gonna do it." So it's not like they were. Yeah, it's not like they were completely blindsided. They knew something was up.
And you can, as Australia's dominant team, you can look at the other team. You look at Korea, and he's got a guy and two girls playing this event against them. Their best guys. I mean, they would obviously know. Okay, why would they do that? Like, why would that team send like the two girls and young men, to face us, three guys, knowing that they're gonna lose? There's obviously something coming up next.
None of it matters. We're gonna win this. Yeah, that's fine.
That's what they were thinking. Well, we're gonna win it. If they're gonna put that against it, then it's just like, all right, well, that makes it easier for us to win it. But they couldn't win it.
I loved it because the first round proved their case. They dominated 1,300 reps, in 5 minutes. 1,300 reps. And so they're sort of proving their case, like, yeah, this is easy. Another fascinating aspect is that somehow it was made known that their best three were going, and every other team made their decision based on that.
Yeah.
It's like somehow they were made known. Like, if every other team didn't know who was actually going to be nominated to do it, maybe they would have changed it up. But it's like Australia made it known, or they just assumed. So now every team's like, oh, should we pit our best three? And rewatching it again, we already made mention of this earlier, but South Korea just Dong Yeon Kim, some of the comments are just like, man, you don't believe in your team. Because it was Zhang, their wrestler, their female wrestler's like, she said, I think we can win this. Let's put our best three in this, and I think we should go straight to the. And then Dong Yeon Kim says, I'm going to be honest, I don't think we can beat them. So let's allocate it. I know, and I was just like, oh,
should have been
really?
sexy.
Yeah, who would Sexyama represent though? Japan or Korea?
Hybrid.
But yeah, I was just kind of disappointed by that. I was like, man, like, but you know, that's the way they operate. And Japan wrestled with the same question because they knew Australia was putting up their best three, and their commentary bounced back and forth of, should we do that? I don't know. And then
so if Japan would have lost, they would have had the two girls, the two females, right?
And their swimmer,
the swimmer, which would have been very kind of. They had a goal all out.
Yeah, they had a goal, and so. But that's the mentality. It's like, and that's
it paid off for at least Japan.
The design of the game too. It's just a brilliantly designed game because you can't really assess this too. The whole ropes game, you can kind of assess like, oh, they're good at this, but once you do it, it's a different animal. So I love looking into some of these numbers. They dominated this first round, so everything they're predicting came true. 5-minute round, that's about 267 per minute reps. In the second round, I remember they counted on all the numbers and everything. 4 minutes only, so 961, so that's 240 per minute. So Australia went from 260 to 240. Fatigue, obviously. Naturally, you're going to regress. Japan, a 5-minute round, they got 239 per minute. Their second round, they increased to 279 per minute.
Wow.
And the second go at it,
they
had the best per minute basis in the whole thing. Now, I know it's a 4-minute round, so it's different. Because that fifth, not having that fifth round where you're the most fatigued.
Yeah.
But still, fatigue is fatigue. Australia had fatigue. They decreased from 267 to 240. But man, Japan, that tenacity. And again, Yoshio, their baseball player, was the one that carried it, man. I circled these guys. These are the guys that you have to label as your best players because they're going to go twice in the first round. And then one of these guys will go twice. And I remember their swimmer in Japan who was sitting on the sideline saying, Yoshio, I think you need to be the person to go twice. And he's like, I don't want to do it. He's like, really? Fine, I'll do it. But it was definitely him. And here's where another area Australia kind of fell. So yeah, they felt so confident. Big number 1, 1336 reps. Second round, they didn't even talk about it. They're just like, what? Same tech? Same rotation? Let's just do it. Yeah, that's good.
Same process.
I don't think they realized that he was actually the slowest amongst their three, I feel like.
I think Robert Whittaker was the best one. Yeah, Robert Whittaker actually was probably pushing the most out of like, he was going super fast, like, really just pumping right through it. And then you got to also remember, like, in round 1, he had to go twice already in round 1.
Which team?
For Australia.
Yes.
So he's already exhausted himself.
And Whittaker went twice, but was it Whittaker just kind of... Whittaker was the one that called the shot, saying, same tech. Because did he know in his head, like, I don't want to do this twice?
He just knew that they dominated.
They dominated, so I'm not even
We just got to repeat it.
But maybe he should have been paying attention and noticing we need to still win this. And that... Yeah, their guy here, even though there's no actual rep count, you should know in your head like how well someone performed. And I don't think he performed that well, and the numbers sort of show his first minute or almost minute, 40 seconds in, he's in last place,
Yeah.
And so like, because he's got big muscles, but the endurance aspect,
it's not really built for that.
And so Whittaker maybe should have been like, I'll go first. I'm the team lead. And if I'm going to call the shots, I'll be the one to go twice,
Right.
I think that could have made a difference. And so
I think the big difference for them, what they should have did was just say, you know what, Eddie, you just stay out of this. And you know what, we'll still have a very good shot, and we'll switch them in with Dom. Maybe bring Dom in, or maybe even one of the girls. Who cares?
Especially the hybrid CrossFit.
Yeah, she would have been saying that
she does.
She
should have been. Yeah,
because Eddie was a ways. Honestly, he was probably the slowest one. Even though he started really fast, he looked like he was dominating really quick. His endurance wasn't going to hold very long, and towards the end, he was just much slower too as well. And I think Australia just kind of overestimated themselves. Yes, they looked really good in the first round. Great, but again, it's a game of endurance.
It's a huge difference between round 1 and round 2.
Yeah.
You just think you dominate round 1 because it was pretty good domination. 13-30 to the next closest 11. So it's like you got a safe lead, But there's a huge difference between 2 rounds in endurance and all that. And so
and then that's the same thing for Mongolia,
especially in Mongolia when the guy was just like, I can't do this anymore.
The circus contortionist. Like that's not even a it's not even a game for him. You know, he's not built for that at all. The tank should have been there. You know,
well,
but that was their strategy though, because they knew it.
They kind of knew something. They wanted to save the tank there. You know, but even then,
that wouldn't have been horrible too if they lost and the contortionist
and then the two
teammates too trying to push it.
That would have been tough.
But who knows, man? They're females too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they won the totem pole thing. Like, I love those little dynamics too, because when they were all wrestling with the same decision, should we send our best three? Should Japan send their best three? They were gonna win it. We play to win the game. And then Korea, Dong Kim, no, let's be tactical. Mongolia was like that, a very strategic Genghis Khan leader. Like, we're up against this predicament. We'll send this troops here, but I'll stay home to defend this crowd here and make these decisions. So he just like put the bands on his team. So who's going?
Can we just say something about his calm demeanor of just this like leader? He's got that Genghis.
27 years old, I think. That's crazy.
He's just this quiet demeanor, just this like powerful just look, you know, this little squinty eyes, and just looks around, and
I know
when he says something, it's powerful, you know, like we're gonna win this, we're gonna do this, you know.
Him and their female judo, I don't know enough about the Mongolian culture, but those two, they have names that end with Khan.
Khan.
Yes. And their names are very hard. They're hard to pronounce. And again, it shows our lack of like
Khan family.
It's end with Khan. And so, and her too, though, she's the things she says too, just it always gives me chills, like the way she says, like the scene when their captain just started putting the wrist or the armbands on the people. She started saying stuff like, and she said it in her Mongolian, very airy, whispery sort of voice, like, and she was just saying like, just words of encouragement of like, they don't have your guys' endurance. They don't have this. Just, it felt like battle. It felt so much like, man, like she's hardcore. Like it felt like battle. Like it was a very serious like battle prep. Like, you're gonna get this. And then the way she says it in her native language is just, it's so impressive. And they almost got it, but that's why that's why I've been such big fans of the Mongolians and their language too. I mentioned this in the last podcast. Like one thing I thought about is our Hmong language, and you know the distinctions between Hmong Dead and Hmong White and Hmong Green. A lot of that, what is it, linguistic, or a lot of that
dialect,
but it's sort of the sounds that you need to make with your actual mouth and your tongue, and some consonants in more Far Eastern cultures are very hard consonants, and that's why Hmong Dead has the and you know all that. But Hmong Green has more hang tang. It's very breathing. That's why it reminded me of the way the Mongolians talk. Like it's very airy. It's very like, you know, like I was like, wow, it's like very airy. So it's like, and you know, Hmong people just know, man. So like maybe this group went off with more of the Far East Chinese mix, and then that's why their language had the dialect Hmong White of harder consonants and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know any of the history, but I think I got some Mongolian blood, and
I got some.
Proud of those Mongolians though.
But it really is just because of that little scrappy dude, because the basketball player and the circus guy, they weren't gonna help him much. They're pretty much just doing whatever. That scrappy dude was the only guy that probably could compete with Sung Bin, whatever, in that round. Because that scrappy dude was pretty good too. He was pounding that all the way through.
No, that was very impressive by Japan. That was just like, I made a call out last time about how Japan's like, they're so impressive. They don't have a tank. They're the only team that didn't have a big tank, someone over 220, 230 pounds. They're lacking in some of that weight area. And so, but man, their resolve, their commitment, it's very impressive. So I'm rooting for them too, but
maybe a tank is a disadvantage. Who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe it's some of these.
No, Eddie is just that. He plays such a big role.
He's a hack too.
Yeah, Eddie is complete. He's the biggest hack of all.
He did the sack toss. It's just so unfair.
I know. This is everything. I was so surprised that they didn't have Eddie do the totem. He would probably like 3 days later.
I would have I would have loved to seen that, because now when Recep went out and is like, oh, my elbow, he also made a comment about you think that it's just brute strength, biggest people, but there's something about just your reach, the length of your reach. The longer and bigger you are, the more the poles will lean. And the slightest degree of angle actually makes a big difference. Think about something really heavy. If it's barely about to fall, there's not that much resistance. But the closer it gets to the ground, like if it leans, the heavier it becomes.
Yeah.
So the degree of weight that shifts when even if it's inches difference between your wingspan and someone else's, is going to be huge. I don't know if that plays into the fact that why the Mongolia's two smaller stature people were able to hold on for 40 minutes. And it's also that, or it's also just because of their tenacity and their strength. But the big guys, I think almost all the big guys, they underperformed. You thought, the Philippines big guys would have got it. They all struggled because over time it's heavy and your wingspan's longer. So if you want to get it up to have that core base, actually, it was the Mongolian captain that talked about this, actually. He kind of did it. I was like, man, that guy's smart. He knows already. I don't know how, but he talked about it. He said that if it's closer up and your arm span is not that long, then you have just a stronger base. Like the more it leans, the harder you have to work. And so even though you're a bigger guy, this is just my hypothesis on that totem pole thing. But so if Big Eddie Williams had to do it, I would have loved to see just how long he could have held it.
That's true.
It could have been cakewalk for him, and then that would have been very fascinating. Or it could have been, I had surgery on this elbow, and
But it's also a difference between like brute strength, where you tighten your muscles and you extract them to lift or carry, and then comparably to when you have to tense your muscles for long periods of time of that
which
endurance.
I think women actually are better at.
More prone to doing that.
Childbearing. That's what you have to do. I think, what is it called? Quick twitch muscles are better for that explosive sort of done, which men have much stronger ability to do. That's why the zigzag one, you think it's just, you jump, but it takes an explosive power to get over it, and over and over and over again. And that's why the female, she was in Turkey, she was a track athlete, but she was saying, I overestimated my ability. Like she could barely get over it. Yeah. Because I just think women don't have the same quick twitch muscles that allow for explosion over and over again, unless you are trained to do that, like you run hurdles like Robin or whatever. But for longevity, where your muscles just have to stay in place, and then the endurance in that core, women, their muscle fibers and everything are built for that too, much better than men. So I don't know. Those are just some of the random thoughts. Maybe none of that applies or whatever, but that's why the game design is so brilliant. Maybe it is like, because I know that they've probably done a million iterations of this and tested it themselves, and so you go into it thinking, we'll dedicate our biggest guy to this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe Eddie Williams, he said, I could just hold it by myself, man. This is so easy, but you never know, until you're actually into it. But
I think he still do better in the ball toss game anyways.
Yeah.
That was like a guaranteed win for them.
I know. This throwing is so high. But this one's the one we have to look to coming forward next. It's the dragging the two big balls.
The lava balls.
The lava balls.
While being chained.
100 rotations. 1,200 kilograms is about 2,600 pounds. So that's
2,600 pounds.
Nissan Versa here. It's 2025 Nissan Versa. 2,600 pounds that you're dragging. Now, it's not just the weight thing. The key aspect of this game that I'm thinking is this notion that you're not rolling a ball, you're dragging a ball. Mm-hmm. It's in sand. Mm-hmm. It's, how ridiculously hard. So what I mean is, if I'm trying to envision doing that, it takes so much energy just to get going. And then once you stop, it's so hard to get going again because man, like this isn't one of those things where some strong men they'll drag a truck, whereas the truck's behind them. They're like, but the truck's going a little bit. You know, it's not easy, but still, the truck's got tires.
It's just like getting momentum a little bit.
You're dragging a ball in sand, and the ball's not rolling; it's being dragged through the sand.
Plus, you're digging your feet in the sand.
So there's a huge endurance aspect to this, and again, you need weight to push weight. So the team with the biggest weight usually does have an advantage here. But you're doing 100 rotations. You're not doing
100 too.
It's not the fastest team to do 10 or something. It's not that. Yeah. It's 100 rotations. So you have to figure that out. I mean, I can almost bank that Korea's going to win this, but
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You know? Koreans. I mean, the Korea team. They have all the advantage in this round.
Should have Sungbum Jin in there.
That's what I was saying. Like
Kim Dong Young.
What if you never know? Because you think that, but somehow when they play it out, the dynamics of this challenge just made it so hard for them, or something. I don't know.
No,
somehow
but if they were
their big guy just becomes a liability, has nothing, you know.
It could be something like that, but still, like if they were gonna give up the first game, then
I know
Kim Dong Young should have just win in the first game and just kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah. They would have given Korea an even better advantage if it was Sung Bin instead.
But I'm pretty sure they're gonna take this. Like, well, you see the comparisons, like Korea with the weights.
Oh yeah.
507 total for their weights.
Combined weight, 507 pounds. Yeah.
And then we have Mongolia with 440 coming up next, spearheaded by both the main guy and then the heavier female one. 198 for her, man. That's like male type weight, you know. That's even it's more than Dom. You know? So
she's heavier than their Australia's whole. Their 3 squad.
This is the first time through the entire thing that Australia has been pivoted to have to persevere. That they were
to overcome.
They're the underdogs.
They're the huge underdogs.
Yeah. And so if they somehow pull through and win this, then it would be remarkable, and they would have a very good chance to take it all. It's a tough thing. I'm predicting they're not even gonna make it. It's just gonna be one of those things where like Korea's already crossed over. They finally hit 100 and they're almost dead. And then, you know, Mongolia is a far second, but they finally cross. And Australia still only got 20. You know, they just gave up. You know, that's my prediction of what's gonna happen. But hey, if I'm proven wrong, my money, if anything, is on was it Caitlin Van? She's pretty tough. The CrossFit athlete. She's gonna probably be the leader in that. I think Dom. Dom's gonna at least put some effort, but it's not his forte, man. It's not his thing. He's more about dynamic. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
The more I think about this, again, it's just how they design the games. If this was first to 20 or something, Australia would lose easily. But the more I think about the 100 reps, I don't know what it looks like. But the more I think about 100 reps, you could get to a point in the game where you're only as good as your weakest link.
Yes.
And if you have one weak link that just is totally maxed out and they're done, a team with 3 that maybe not as strong or heavy, if they're still going slower, if they just continue to persist, maybe
all 3 have to. Because you're absolutely right. Because they're in this game. There's obviously a very strategic play in exactly where you sit. On the outside is going to have the most crucial.
Yep.
They have to have the heaviest weight to push the furthest distance. And then the inside has it the easiest. The middle is kind of the balancer. So that is very true. But then also at the same time, like you mentioned, all 3 have to be working because they can't just fall on one person. One person, if they're the ones pushing it and carrying it, and they're not going to be able, they could probably get one rotation around and then they would be spent. Yeah. So all 3 of them have to work in congruency and perfect congruency, harmony.
Because it's sand. Remember, to get it going, the kinetic energy is what I keep thinking in my head, how difficult the kinetic energy will be to produce. You finally get it going, but if you take a break for a second, it's so hard to get going again. That's the craziness of this one. So if someone is spent and they're just like, I'm trying my best, but I'm just like, I'm not, that could be a huge deal. In fact, because and that's why I don't feel like any of these 3 will get spent. Any of Australia won't get spent. Their endurance might carry it for them. But again, if it's first to 20, be as fast as you can. They wouldn't have a chance, I don't think. But
I don't know. And the reason why it's so hard for me to make any kind of predictions right now, because I don't know how it looks like for 3 people, athletic people, men and women, to be pushing on this 2,600 pound weight. Now if they start pushing on it and you look at the force and it does, hey, it's not that bad, and it is moving like that, then okay, yeah, Australia has a very good chance if they work in unison and they can get through it. But if it's kind of like they're pushing and you can just like barely move it, it is just like so hard, then Australia won't have a chance, because then they're just going to be like, I can't do this. We just can't even do it. We'll do 10 of them and it's just already like, it's already too much. Like we don't have the manpower, the strength, the brute strength behind pushing this at all. And because of that, like, I think Dom is the one who's on the outside for this outside. So then even if your girls are still in it and their endurance is still there, it's just like, but our endurance is here and we can push, but we just can't even push it. It's just too heavy for us, And this is just going to fall on you, Dom. And Dom is already like, I can't do this by myself. I need at least another power pusher, that can help me through this. Even though the girls still have their endurance, they just can't push it regardless. Now, if they can and it actually starts going, then you're exactly right. Like, they have a very good chance of taking it if they just work together and push it all the way through.
I think they're going to run, all teams are going to run into moments where it feels like that, where it's just like they're hitting a rough patches and they're kind of moving and inching it along, sort of dragging it along. Every team will probably hit pockets of that. And that's how this matchup would be determined, by your cohesion, because you have to like be in sync with when you give your force. You can't just, we're all brute. You have to almost count it out, maybe like 1, 2, 3 push or something. You have to collectively, because you'll hit that point. I think at first it'll look a little easy. Like they'll probably I'm going to expect or guess that the first 10 rotations will be a constant movement, not super fast, but just constant. But they will hit points where it's like, once you stop, you have to sort of rest up before you can start moving again. And that's where it becomes that endurance piece. So it's going to be a marathon. I think about 100 reps. That's sort of like the marathon mentality, that there'll be times probably where a team will rest for maybe completely rest 30 seconds and then start again. How do you distribute your rest time? I don't know. Like, or maybe it is pretty relatively quick. I think it'll be more marathon sort of based.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
But I think the endurance might carry through.
Now looks like because, oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, Kanzurin, the volleyball player in Mongolia, I think her cardio and endurance might not be there.
It wasn't there for the zigzag.
It's kind of similar to that. I'm not saying that she's not athletic or anything, but I think for a long time, you're tall too, and you're not built for that. Just her body frame. What if she's just spent really soon and it's just kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, there'll be some factors.
How much do you really need to be as the inside person pushing? Obviously the most work is on the outside, like you said, but the inside person, how much work is really there? Do you need that much endurance to be there? Because I think you would need that endurance and strength as if you had a lot working against you, but since you're kind of that guy that says, when you push the car, you're kind of just that guy that sits in the back and just like while everyone's pushing, just kind of balancing it out like that.
It may seem like that, but the weights might get to a point where you can no longer afford just to be sort of that guy. It needs everyone.
Well, that's true.
You need to be perfectly.
Yeah.
The balls are kind of separated in a way where even the inside guy,
they're all going to bear some weight.
Has to pull some weight.
I'm just trying to envision what it looks like. That's why I love the design of the games, because you come into it thinking, you just need to do this and that, but you don't really know what 100 rotations is until you see it play out. And
so we won't even look at Korea's team right now because they're just they're kind of the shoe, and you never know.
They're the ones
unless Amati breaks his ACL. Hello. Well, I don't even know what would happen if that would happen. Oh, time out. Like, we can't have replacements.
The two just have to do it themselves.
But if you just look at the other two, and you look at, let's just say, the CrossFit for Australia, Caitlin and Dom, right? They're 2 top guys, because Alexandra is probably going to be the weaker link on that one.
She's on the inside, yeah.
She's on the inside. So Dom and Caitlin versus, Mongolia's leader. Sakyan and Aryasurin, her. Like, you just look at the top two right there. Obviously, it's much more heavy that Mongolia, because their tank and her, like, much more powerful. So you have to guess, like, how much more of a weaker link is the volleyball girl compared to Alexandra, like if she can at least pull through and push her weight, at least the top two comparably to Dom and Caitlin on Mongolia's side, I would still lean heavily that Mongolia's got it. That's my prediction, my bet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to throw that out there. But again, it's my guess. I don't know what may happen.
We'll find out what happens.
Yeah, we're going to find out. But I'm going to place my bet in that one right there. But I still think Korea is going to easily take it unless something crazy does happen, like, some freak accident or something happens. But if there's none of that and it's just regular, I think Korea is going to probably drag it all the way in first place by a long shot too. That's my guess. It's not even going to be close. Korea is going to take it pretty dang far.
I think so. The Korea, everyone knows, but the suspense, because what I do know is this, even though it looks like Mongolia should take this, what I do know about Physicalasia series is that they're always about suspense, and what you thought would happen, actually this happened. Whenever.
Yeah.
There's going to be something that happens. When
Manny Pacquiao is back. He joined Mongolia's team.
Yeah, so because it just seems too obvious that Mongolia would take this, and it also felt for me very like, I thought Amati was going to lose the sack jump, so that's why I thought, but they're always going to spin it on you, and they make it the edges. So that's what I'm saying. That's more the meta narrative perspective, but we'll look forward to that, man. We can we'll wrap up this review here, unless y'all got any other takeaways from episodes 5 through 9. But
I think we should be good. We'll find out. We'll have a last recap on the final episodes, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see kind of what goes up. But any updated final winners of it all?
I'm gonna go Japan. I'm rooting for Japan though.
You rooting for Japan though?
I was Mongolia. I was like Korea, but I'm gonna root for Japan.
I'm still gonna say Korea. This is Korea's show. Japan is gonna be the ultimate nemesis. I
can see that.
Yeah, they're the one team that it's just created that way. This isn't even real. This is Korean drama.
That's what it seems like.
It's just a Korean drama going up against, and they wanted to create what is the ultimate nemesis that we have to face. Japan strong.
They were the ones that started everything.
Yeah. This is just
it would come down to Japan and Korea, and with Korea taking it all. Yeah. I mean, that does sound like it would be the story, but I don't know. In terms of favorites to take it all now, yeah, I think Japan, they're just too well-rounded. I think there's a new, I knew they were pound for pound strong, but they're just at this level of tenacity, determination, like pure athleticism. I don't think they're on Korea's level, but it doesn't matter in some of these. They're smart. They're tenacious, and
they're a team.
They're going to get a handle. Yeah, they're mentally just,